Welcome to Powerhouse for the Culture, where we create space for real conversations, real stories, and real community impact. I'm your host, Montanique. Today, we are joined again by Bobby C. Johns, a counselor from Austin, Texas, born and raised in Austin. Bobby is passionate about helping individuals and couples navigate life challenges, strengthen relationships, and create lasting personal growth. He draws from personal training, life experiences, and a deep commitment to empathy, accountability, and practical tools that empower people to move forward. As a lifelong athlete who played football from Little League through the semi-professional level, Bobby credits the discipline, perseverance, and teamwork he learned on the field as the foundation of his coaching style. Today, he uses those same values to inspire and guide clients towards meaningful change. Today's conversation focuses on addiction, relapse, recovery, and the work required to create lasting transformation. Welcome again, Bobby.
Thank you so much for having me. It's crazy. Every time you introduce me, I'm like, is that me? Is that me? So I really appreciate it. It's very, very good intro.
You're welcome. We do our best. That makes me feel really, really good, because I truly believe in giving people their flowers and their work that they do. And because sometimes I feel like when you're doing the work, you don't realize how much you do.
True.
Until someone brings it to your attention.
That's true.
And the things that you do are so life-changing, and I just want people to know that you're available. You really do all that, and you're really out here doing the work. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you for having me again.
Of course. I feel like
Me too.
I had so many people that reached out that I was like, you know what? You studied more than just the topics that we talked about last time, which is mental health. Mm-hmm. You know, as coaching, you do so many things with addiction recovery, helping with families, that it was great to bring you on with more topics.
Thank you.
Of course.
I agree. I love it. And I mean, I think that's the overarching theme of my practice, of our business is an overall it's like overall wellness.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we try to create this synergistic atmosphere where people can, it's like a one-stop shop where people can come and get most of their needs met.
Yeah.
And then those for those who we can't assist with, then we have resources for that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I mean, me and my team, we just love helping people. We love supporting people, especially in the roughest times of their lives. Whether it's addiction, whether it's fitness, right? Health is a big deal, right? Whether it's mental or physical. So I appreciate you recognizing that and providing me a platform to be able to reach more.
Of course. Yeah. And you know how we always start off with our icebreaker questions.
Yeah, let's break it.
So my first question will always be, what is something good that's happened to you this week?
Father's Day.
Yeah.
Father's Day.
Did you have a good Father's Day?
I did.
Did you feel loved?
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I felt, and I always do, you know, but I believe that it is, you know, same as Mother's Day. I feel like just at least having that one day where it's specifically for that parent, you know, whether it's mother or father, and obviously being able to give flowers. I'm gonna use your words, give flowers to all the men who have been instrumental in my life.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, starting with my father, and then my uncles and friends, you know, that are fathers, you know, that have been really impactful role models in my life. So it was a beautiful occasion. We fried some fish. We had some. It was like a shrimp boil.
Okay.
But we baked it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You baked it? What you mean?
So you put all, you know, I mean, so you put the all the sausage in there. You put the corn in there. You put the crawfish in there. What else we put in there? Potatoes and all of that stuff, right? And then, you know, you put a little oil in it. My cousin's a chef, so I'm just letting you know that right now. My aunt was out on the fish fry. Me and my cousin were inside some hard-boiled eggs and it's all that stuff, you know.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I mean, you put all that together and then you put it in the oven, you know. And we had 3 different versions. We had hot, medium, and regular. So, you know, I was on that hot. I was on that spicy. So, yeah, it was beautiful, good food. We didn't get to play dominoes.
Oh, y'all didn't?
Yeah, we didn't get to play dominoes. I'm a little hurt.
Did y'all play cards, spades?
No. just because it was so hot, it
yeah.
kind of slowed everything down, you know, because everybody was seeking some cold.
Yeah.
But it was just so many people.
Yeah.
So many people had to feed a lot of people, but that's a blessing.
And the
you know?
humidity's been crazy. So
Talk
I
about
know
the
it was
humidity.
hot.
Too hot. Too hot. Felt like 107 or something like that.
Ooh, yeah, that's hot.
I ain't. Yeah, that ain't for me.
Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed that. What is something that you like to do when you're not working?
When is that? No. Something. I mean, I love to write music.
Okay,
You know.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
You're a
yeah.
writer?
I am. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a writer. I record music. I haven't recorded. I mean, I've recorded some, but I mean, I put an album out. I think like right before my 40th birthday. That was a commitment that I made to myself, because I've done music since I was in my early 20s.
Oh, wow.
But I perform and stuff like that, but I really never put an album out. So took a hiatus for a while, but that was always like my writing is my therapy, and so like that's how I get my feelings, my thoughts out. And I often tell people, like, if you want to really know me, listen to my music. It's not about all the drugs and it's not all about the negative things. It's very conceptual, very woke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just real. Like it's really me. What I'm portraying on over the beats that I choose to flow over.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
I could see that though, because I feel like you give very deep and intellectual, so I could definitely see that in your music. I wouldn't be shocked.
I try. But yeah, that's what I like. That brings me calm, and obviously working out. Like because I do personal training as well. I mean, I have a whole gym in the garage.
I love that.
And I mean it's, and that's when I love the heat and humidity.
Yeah,
I love the sweat.
I feel that.
Yeah,
because you feel like you did something. Like I know the feeling that you're talking about. It's like nobody is doing this.
No.
Like that's how you feel.
Right.
Like nobody's really doing this
Right.
for real. Like I don't know what it does to the mind, but it does do something.
Yeah, well, we talked about it in our first podcast, like the runner's high. I feel the same way, well, similar when I'm in the gym. Like to me, sweat is currency.
Yeah.
I am investing in my health. I'm investing in my future. You know what I mean? And so for me, every drop of sweat means another breath.
I love that.
Another day potentially. So yeah, I love those things.
That's my motto too. Like I tell myself, like moving my body means we're thanking God that we can move our body.
Amen.
Because I never want to not be able to move my body and wish I could have, because I didn't realize how blessed I was. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I love that.
If you don't use it, you lose it.
That's what I hear. And I ain't trying to lose it. I'm not trying to lose it. That's why I try to like work with what I got. You know, I don't got to look like somebody else, but we can work with what we got.
That's it. And that's all it is. It's not about comparison. Like oftentimes people do compare their journeys to other people. And one thing I tell all my clients that do compare, because that's the human condition, is that comparison is a thief of joy. And so how can you compare yourself to someone else and still be happy and content with yourself? Right. It's impossible.
It's so impossible. And not only that, it's like if you're so worried about, because after you start comparing, you start wanting to be like that other person, but it's like, who's going to be you then?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the best version of you? Because the best version of you has something to offer.
And I think oftentimes what we don't realize is there's other people that are looking to us and want to be like us.
Yeah.
And we're and oftentimes we're so busy trying to be somebody else where it's like you don't realize that you are admired. That and it's just being secure in yourself.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. If you could have dinner with someone dead or alive, who would it be?
Michael Jackson. Oh yeah, no,
really?
MJ.
I feel that. I like Michael.
MJ.
And he was so funny. Like I feel like him, Whitney Houston too.
Yeah.
I like Whitney Houston. She's funny. I like Whitney.
She is.
Because I feel like she's very truthful. And like,
she gonna say what's on her mind.
She gonna say what's on her mind.
Yeah, like
I
it or
love
not.
people like that, and I feel like Michael. What I love about Michael is like I felt like he kept his childlike spirit.
Right.
I love that. You know what I mean? So usually people like that are always a good time to be around. You know, because they probably don't care about all the extra stuff. Like they're there for a good time.
Oh yeah. Now I don't know how. I'm pretty sure it would be a weird dinner. You know, that's my boy. But yeah, I mean, it might be a weird dinner.
Yeah,
you know,
but it'd be a good weird dinner.
It would be a good weird dinner just because it's somebody that I've admired for so long.
Yeah.
You know, personal stuff aside, I'm speaking to the artist that's the only person that I know the most about.
Right.
I don't know what's done behind closed doors or any of those things, and that's not what I'm discussing. You know, I'm talking about the music, the entertainment, the entertainer, the genius that he was, and if you really break it down, still is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the movie just came out and it was really good. You know, my kids have seen it twice.
Yeah, no, it was really good.
So yeah, it'd be MJ.
I like Michael, but I'm also kind of weird. So you know, it's like we might be a little weird together.
Man, I'm trying to tell you. He'd be like, I don't know about this dude. I'd be like, I don't know about you, Mike. You know what
I like him.
Right. Right.
Oh my God, you're funny. What's your go-to song or playlist right now?
I gotta say, oh wow, that's weird. Kalani.
Really?
Yeah. And I didn't really notice it until you said it.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one?
All of them.
Oh, okay. So you're into Kalani right now.
Yeah.
I don't
even know when it happened. Oh, so you know, on YouTube they have like the little R&B mixes and stuff like that, and they be having some fire songs on there, you know, and some of them are AI and some of them aren't, you know, and so sometimes you be like, man, it sounds like Chris Brown, and then you Shazam it or something, and it's not. But there was this one song that was playing, and I Shazammed it, and it was Kalani.
Oh.
And ever since then, I just been like, well, let me see what she about.
No,
so I
Kalani's
just went
great.
to her mix and I was listening to it when I pulled up.
Yeah. Shout out to Kalani.
It's pretty, yeah, she's pretty dope.
I like Kalani.
She's pretty dope.
What is a place that you have traveled to that has left a lasting impression on you?
I'm gonna make your mama jealous with this one. Jamaica.
My mom loves Jamaica. She wants to go back.
I know.
If my mom could live in Jamaica, we would be in Jamaica all the time. Jamaica's really we're going to Jamaica.
Yes.
By the way,
Yeah.
We're going soon for her birthday. What did you like about Jamaica? Because if I ask her, she's gonna say everything.
Well, that's the same. That's the same thing. Like, what's not to like about it?
That's what she said.
You know what I mean? Like, really, what's not to like about it? I mean, the culture is beautiful. The environment is beautiful. The beach, the water is crystal clear. You know, and obviously there, you know, just as in every place, right? There are not so good places, you know, and so I typically stick to the tourist spots. You know what I mean? Just because, you know, I mean, I don't really. If you're not from there, they know you're not from there.
Yeah.
You know, but in certain areas that in the areas that I've been in, they treat you so good. You know, they treat you like family. You know what I mean? Margaritaville in Jamaica is like one of the most popping places in the world. In the world, Craig. You know, but no, it was just beautiful, just going to Margaritaville there. But yeah, I would say Jamaica, and I think if it was a second, it would be Costa Rica. We just recently went. Just beautiful, just a different culture, different experience. But the food, though,
really, is it better than Jamaica though?
Oh, I think it's.
They're different.
I think it's different, right? I mean, obviously, the dishes are different, but I will say I believe that that the food is less processed in Costa Rica,
Okay.
and you can eat and just feel light.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just because it's not a lot of GMOs in it, it's just not a lot of processing that goes on. I mean, you can really taste the richness of the food, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Jamaica, that jerk chicken though, you know, you can't beat that.
So I'm going to take your word for it too. I already took her word from it because she literally talks so highly of it. Like, but my mom was always dreaming about Jamaica. Yeah. And then when she went, it was just like a dream of hers. It took me a while to even want to like I would stay in the States for a while because I don't like to fly. That was just, I didn't care what we was on. Like, I don't care where we're going. I still don't like to fly. And I do fly more now. And I thought that flying would get better and I would like it. I just don't. I don't think I will ever like flying. That's just my thing. I like my feet on the ground. But I have not let that stop me from going. So now we're going to go to Jamaica for her birthday, for her 50th. Yeah.
You gonna have a ball.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a ball. I think another connection that I have with Jamaica is my second favorite artist is Bob Marley.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And so I know so much about Jamaica through his music and through just studying. Obviously, he's the reason I have dreads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rastafari. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I mean, just knowing that that's, you know, that that's where he's from and that's what he sings about and that was his culture. It's just always been something that's been really cool to me. So when I went, I'm like, where the Marley stuff? You know what I mean? And so, you know, this is beautiful.
I'm gonna have to go visit because I'm sure they have like what museums and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a legend. So.
He is a legend. It's not like a legend. He is a legend.
Why did I feel like you were gonna correct me? I was like, he wasn't satisfied with that. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm gonna have to go do that when because I am a type of person that likes to go to museums and stuff like that. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to go check that out when we go to Jamaica. Like, just check out all that. I love to hear that. Yeah. Well, today your topic is on relapse. Well, that's one of your topics. Yeah. And it's on relapse because I do feel like a lot of everybody likes to focus on the addiction and the things that that cause the addiction and things like that, but they don't talk about the process of healing and getting better, right? And that's part of relapse. And also I also believe that relapse doesn't just fall in line with addiction. Relapse is actually anything, right? And meaning relapse, for my example that I'm trying to put in words is like you could be on a diet and you commit to eating healthy and then you go back and eat the food that you're not supposed to be doing. That's also a relapse. Yes. And so even though we are talking mainly about like relapse and addiction, I also think we can apply it everywhere in life because relapse is the definition of relapse is still going back.
Correct.
At some point.
Yeah.
And so I want to ask you, with the word relapse, what do you think people misunderstand about it?
I mean, I think the biggest misconception of relapse is that it's always a choice. You know, I mean, we talk about the human condition often, right? You know, and when certain habits are formed, it's hard to break those habits. It's very hard to break those habits. And you said it. I mean, whether it's working out, whether it's eating healthier, whether it's being faithful, whether it's, you know what I mean, whether it's addiction. Changing habits is very challenging. You know, a lot of people say, well, it takes 30 days to change a habit. No, it don't. It takes a whole lot longer than that.
Especially depending on how long you've been doing it.
Exactly. You know, and so there's no time. There's really no timeline on it. You just have to be patient and be consistent. You know, and so I think the biggest misconception is that it's like relapse is always a choice. Just because it's not. It's a human condition. We're all creatures of habit. Yeah. You know, and when we try our best to overcome certain vices, it's trial and error.
Yeah.
You know, for every relapse, you can gain a lot of helpful insight.
Yeah.
You know, whether a relapse of anything, you get more data.
So that brings me to my next question then, because would relapse be considered a failure, or would it also be considered part of the process of recovery?
It's absolutely a part of recovery. You know, it's absolutely a part of recovery, right? It's a mistake.
Yeah.
We're human. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, I think for addiction. Wait, what was the first? What was the first part of the question?
Would it be considered a failure?
I don't. Yeah. No. I think a lot of what I just said a while ago. Like I don't. I mean, okay. You know what? Let's just say yes. Let's just say it is a failure. Is that bad?
No.
Right.
But that's what I was going to say, because I feel like failure is really part of all processes.
Of course. Exactly.
You know, like,
yes.
I know that a lot of people put in their mind that they think like it's an addiction, right? So they're thinking like they can't fail.
Right.
That's what they're like. They're thinking they can't fail. But, you know, I don't struggle with addiction on drugs or things like that. But I do know, like we said, in forms of dieting, just a list of other things that people may not consider a big deal. I mean, it's still failure at some point, you know. But I also think it is part of the process, because if you keep going, you'll fail less.
Of course. Well, I mean, failure is like you said, failure is a part of life. You know, and what do you do with that failure? You know, I think we talked a little bit in our first episode, where it's the difference between resiliency and insanity. You know what I mean? It's like if you keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, you're going to get more of the same, right? And that's just insane, right? But if you fail, when you fail, because that's going to happen. We all fail at something, probably every day.
Yeah.
Right? What are you learning? Are you taking inventory on what you did to get you to that fail point, and what do you need to do differently to launch differently next time?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's really what it's about. What am I doing with the data that I'm given? So
through the failures, because that's the only way that you're gonna know. Because even in business, right?
Oh yeah.
You make tons of mistakes in business, especially in entrepreneurship. Like that is the most challenging and hardest thing ever.
Right.
And you truly only learn by mistakes. Like I think sometimes even books can't give you books. Going to school, all that can give you like a good idea and gist of things, but because everybody's business is different,
right,
you learn through trial and error, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know, and I can testify to that, because I figured like I'm the type of person that's trying to I don't want to make any mistake at least as possible.
Right.
But you learn it's kind of impossible.
Well, it is, you know, and I think I definitely want to say that, you know, because we're talking about addiction, because we're talking about relapse, I mean, it's absolutely true that there's relapse in every facet of life. I think what separates addiction from eating healthier or what all the other examples that we spoke about, whether it's working out, eating healthier, is that addiction is that one thing that you can make one mistake and die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, and obviously, like, there are situations if you eat the wrong thing and you're diabetic, you know what I mean? Like that's possible too. But the statistics will tell you that addiction takes a whole lot more people than other things in life because of the overdose, right? I'm not going to eat a burger and overdose immediately, right? It's going to accumulate, you know, over time and break my body down.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, and drugs and alcohol will do the same thing, but depending on your level of health, it can kill you instantly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think we talked about that a little bit the other day as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is more serious for sure, and more it could be a little bit more challenging too, because you're also dependent on something that's causing you to function at a certain capacity. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And so I could see how that could be totally like a different thing, and how it could be so addictive, because it's like a real quick fix.
Well, it's a chemical. I mean, like it creates chemical imbalances, right? And you're always chasing that same feeling from the first time. You know, like the first time the dopamine levels go up, it secretes so many endorphins and all these chemical changes in your body.
Yeah.
That's where the addiction starts, right? Because from then on, you're chasing that feeling that you will never have again.
Yeah.
Right, you know, you only get one you only get one time for a first impression.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with any substance, right? You're never gonna feel the same way as the first time that thing was ever introduced into your brain and into your body, right?
That's scary.
It's very scary, and that's why you start increasing and increasing and increasing the usage because you're chasing that thing. That couldn't have been wrong. Right, that made me feel this way. I want that again, right? And before you know it, it's ruined your whole life.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, it was something that you said about failure. It's interesting that, you know, corporate America, they don't want people to know that they failed too, and so they skirted under the word trial and error. Trial and error is failure.
Exactly.
And learning from your mistakes.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so it's the same thing, but the connotation on the word failure
Yeah.
is so negative instead of forward progress and moving, growth mindset.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
I totally agree with that because, like you said, you kind of have to fail.
You have to.
It's failure actually helps the victories that much greater.
I was about to say, how are you going to know what success feels like? How are you going to know what success feels like if you don't fail? You know?
Exactly.
You have to.
Exactly. And it makes those type of moments even better.
Yep.
That was perfectly said. I do want to... Why do you think... Because when it comes to like addiction and things of that nature and people relapsing, why do you think people feel so ashamed after they relapse? And what do they do with that once they feel ashamed, you know? Because I think sometimes shame can be so heavy that people just sit in the shame.
Right. As human beings, you know, we just talked about failure, right? Another human condition is fear of failure, right? And really, to me, it comes down to, yes, people are ashamed, but for the most part, with the clients that I work with, it stems from toxic shame. You know, and toxic shame is the things that other people, whether it's familial or environmental, or societal, that they told you about yourself. Right? We talk about the stigma of addiction, you know, and you're a bad person. It's a choice. It's this. It's not a disease. You know, you're saying it's like cancer. Like, no, wait, hold on. I mean, again, we're not comparing anything.
Right.
Right? But at the end of the day, we have to understand that it's still real, right? It's still real. So at some point, we have to allow people to handle and deal with things the best way that they can. You know what I mean? What's the question again?
How do they deal with the shame? You know,
Yeah.
because, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of times they can't understand. They feel so bad about the shame that they've had. That it can stop the recovery. So I feel like a lot of times when you feel shame, you don't know what to do with that. So it's like when you feel ashamed of whatever decision you've made, what do you do with that? How do you recover from that?
Well, I mean, you one step at a time. You know, I mean, obviously the first step in the 12 steps in recovery is admitting that you have a problem.
Yeah.
You know, and me and your mom were talking a little bit about it before we started filming, like how, especially in our culture, we don't talk about mental health. We don't talk about addiction, right? If we don't talk about it, it doesn't exist, right? Or you're not supposed to. That's weak. That's a weakness, right? But again, those are things that other people told you about yourself or this disease, and so the first step is, the first step is just admitting that there's a problem.
Yeah.
Once if you don't identify it, how are you going to work on something, right? How would I ever know what 2 plus 2 is if I didn't write it down and identify that's the symbol for 2 and that's the symbol for 2, and together those 2 symbols make 4.
Yeah.
Right? I had to identify those things before I could ever learn them. Right? And so the same thing with you or any individual is you have to identify what it is about you before you can actually do some work around it. You know what I mean? And we can get into religion and higher powers and all those things, but that plays a big role in recovery. Finding a sponsor, going to meetings, finding your community, all those things, right? Because most of the time when people are struggling with addiction, it's in isolation. Right, and what's needed to get out of it is what I believe every human being needs, and that's connection.
Yeah.
Right, but the opposite of connection is isolation.
Yeah.
Right, and so, yeah.
That's a hard pill to swallow too.
It is, yeah. Oh yeah.
Because you do feel alone, and like I said, like I don't battle with addiction, but anytime you're going through something that no one else is going through around you, immediately you feel isolated,
or that you don't think. People see that's the thing.
Yeah, that's true.
That you think other people aren't going through.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and I think too. What I think a lot of people think too is a lot of times people think that if you're not, you can't understand them if you're not going through the same exact situation. Yeah. Like for instance, like when people say like, oh well, my mom died and somebody else like an aunt died for them, and they're like, you could never understand, but that aunt may have been like a mom to them, and both of them lost something, so they're both experiencing grief, and it's the same thing. Like a loss is a loss. People don't understand that. Like you actually feel the same feelings. Yeah, it's just different scenarios that got you in that type of situation. So I totally feel like in a lot of ways we can relate to people that are addicted to drugs, and because we get the same feeling of something, whether you can't let go or get rid of something, because addiction is the same thing. They can't get rid. They're chasing something that brings them there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I think we can all relate to that in some sort of way and know how hard it is to pull away from something you're addicted to. Because sometimes you could be addicted to a person. You can be addicted to food. You can be addicted to social media, because I do feel like that is going to be like maybe further down the line. But
no, it's here. No, I'm serious.
I know.
Here. It's here. I work with so many kids nowadays that are addicted to social media, that are addicted to electronics.
Is it the same as the drug? Like, can you see similarities?
Oh, yeah. No. Yes. It feeds the same reward center. It's instant gratification, right? You sniff something, instant gratification. You take a shot, instant gratification, right? You're on this game. It's so stimulating, right? That it feeds it increases the dopamine levels, right? Because it's just so much external stimuli, right? And you're going, right? And then something happens, and I mean, I will admit that I used to get a little angry when I would play games, but now people are like bullying people online in these games. People are going crazy over these games. People spending a whole lot of money over these games. Kids are stealing money from their parents to buy things for these games, right? And then nothing else matters. Because why? Because nothing else is going to hold my attention like this game, right? You send them to class, right? And this teacher don't got no skin on, right? A skin is something that I don't know if you know, but like in certain games they have like skins, and like they're different outfits and uniforms that you can purchase, right? I know because I purchased several for my kids, not no more. But this teacher has no chance to hold these children's attention that sit in front of a game all day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or sleep all day. And then that's all they want to do is sleep and play games.
Yeah.
Right? Chores start to fall to the side. And It's a lot. So it's here
Yeah.
already. It's only gonna get worse.
Yeah, because I'm like, if it sounds like just like addiction, right? Because
Yes.
addiction robs you of your life.
Yes.
So it's like being on your phone robs you of your life. Like life is literally passing you by. Just the same way as addiction. And before you know it, people are probably dying around you. People are like, life is still moving.
Yes.
And that's sad.
It's here.
Yeah. So
It's
that's
here.
like the new kind of addiction.
Yeah. Yes.
And so I've never, like, I know I've had bad habits of things, right? And when I have bad habits of things, my go-to is to slowly withdraw, right? Because it's hard to make that big jump when you're trying to break a bad habit like we talked about, and I don't think it's sustainable. To necessarily do that. And I don't know if when people are addicted that they try to like withdraw from a drug, like they take less and less and less, because that's also still a whole process that happens when your body is fueled with drugs all the time. And I'm wondering, for those that struggle with addiction or any type of addiction, do they, how can they wing their self off of things? You know what I mean? Like, how can they start the process of doing the recovery? Because I know for drug addiction, you actually have to go to recovery sometimes because sometimes withdrawing can actually kill you. So how does that work?
Well, I mean, this is one of those things that can't be all encompassing, right? I mean, you can start decreasing caloric intake. Right. You can start exerting more, burning more calories. You can do those things, but like you just said, there's some substances that you have to they have to titrate you and wean you off professionally, right? So this is for anybody struggling with any substance abuse disorder or any addiction, especially when it comes to substances. Please seek professional help. Just because you don't know what you've done to your body.
Yeah.
Right? Your body is now chemically dependent on this substance. So, you can try to wean off it if you want to, right? And some things are easier than others, right? You want to stop smoking, don't buy no more cigarettes, chew some gum, right? And there's something for that, right?
Yeah.
But there's no healthy way to you can't decrease the amount of crack you know what I mean, you smoke, right? You can't do I'm gonna just do a little meth today, right? That's not gonna work, right?
Yeah.
Because you're still, that reward center is still being fed, and now your brain is gonna be constantly in that fight or flight, mode. You know what I mean? And so seek professional help. Like that'd be the answer, especially if it's substance use. I mean, if it's food, if you're severely obese or diabetic and things like that, I would still recommend professional help.
Yeah.
Right? Go talk to your doctor. Figure out what's going on with your body. You know what I mean? Is it, what's really going on inside of your body? What's really going on inside of your brain? So again, I mean, the mental aspect is just as important as the physical aspect. So professional help is as often as you can. Just even for a professional opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes I totally agree with that, because sometimes it takes something higher than yourself, and this could be information that you just didn't know.
You don't know.
So what would you say to someone that relapsed and feels like all their progress is gone?
I mean, it just goes back to what we said earlier. You just have more data, right? I mean, just because every relapse isn't created equal, right? I mean, you have a full blown relapse where you spiral and burn it all down again, right? And then you have what we call like a slip up, right? Oh man, I drank yesterday, but I'm back in a meeting. I'm back, right? But there's obviously there's other things that, again, I mean, you do some meth, right? Then it's just like you probably spiraling back down, right?
Yeah.
And so they're not all created equal.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, it gives you more data for you to figure out what were your triggers. You know what I mean? What were the environmental triggers? Were they auditory? triggers? You know what I mean? Was it situational triggers?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Identifying what those are is paramount.
Yeah.
Right? You know, I mean, there's, you know, I've had clients to where, you know, they drove the same route from work to home, from home to work. On their way to work, they'll stop at this gas station and get them a alcoholic beverage.
Yeah.
Right? I ain't gonna say, you know, you know, but they would get them an alcoholic beverage, and then on the way back, they would get an alcoholic beverage.
Yeah.
Right? When they came to treatment, my recommendation was for them to take a different route. You know what I mean?
To take yourself out that environment.
To take yourself out the environment. Do you think they did that?
No.
No. As soon as they left treatment, driving home, stopped at that gas station, got the same alcoholic beverage with the same clerk, got in the car, drank, drove straight back to treatment. Just identified the trigger.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't want to, couldn't, or was unwilling to do what was necessary. And obviously a lot of it was ego. You know what I mean? Man, I've been in there 90 days. I'm good, right? Just driving along, right? I'm good, right? But treatment is not real world, right? Treatment is a reprieve, and it's trying to prepare you to start engaging in a different way of living.
Yeah.
Right? If you go to if you go to treatment and you just view it as a pause in your life, you're probably not going to take as much away from it as you really should have.
Yeah.
But if you go and you learn those skills, you embody those skills, and then you go out and you actually engage in utilizing those skills, you have a very higher rate of being successful.
Yeah.
You know, and again, success doesn't always mean perfect.
Right.
Right? You're gonna have some slip ups, you're gonna have some these and that's, but the people that you keep around you are important, right?
Yeah.
You know, like,
they gotta correct you.
Of course, right? If you go to treatment and then you go back, you know, to the trap house, what you think is gonna happen?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can take the soberest person in the world, right? If you lock them in a trap house for 90 days, they coming out a crackhead. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, just because, I mean, environmental, right? I mean, this is where I am now, right? You could probably hold off for 30 days, right? But because of attrition, right? Like you're seeing all these things around you. At some point, you're gonna fold, right? Because it's around you.
Yeah, and for you to even be in that environment, you're gonna feel like you have to.
You have to.
Because
you know?
even I can only imagine being sober and full of a room, like you said, full of people that are on drugs. Right. You know what I mean? That's hard to do because you can't relate. They're in their own world.
Right.
You're literally like, it's like everyone is isolated at the same time.
So just imagine you being the only one. How isolating is that?
Yeah.
I said, y'all can hold on for 30 days. I mean, oh man, I'm holding. Right? But then eventually you're going to join that pack mentality. Mm-hmm. Right? Because why? Because you want to connect. You want to fit in. You don't want to be the outlier. Right? Mm-hmm. And now you have that sober paranoia, like, well, hold on, everybody around me is like this, and I'm the only one that's not. So, like, I better get in where I can fit in.
That is so profound what you said, though, because it almost also sounds like someone that is battling anything, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, so if somebody is addicted to something, it's like you almost want to surround yourself with people that are fully sober because that can force you to change because you're the only one that's doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just like how you put the scenario, somebody sober going into a crack house and how they would conform eventually.
Well, of course.
It's
right.
If you really think about it, there's always a 50-50 chance, and there's always two sides to things.
Absolutely.
So it's like, put that same person that's on crack into an environment where everything is sober. They're going to eventually, they're going to be so uncomfortable being on drugs that eventually they're going to want to make the change, make the difference, because they want to fit in.
And that's the hope. That's the hope, right? And that's why it's about, and just because, right, I mean, you know, you have sober homes, right? You have sober homes and things like that where, I mean, you know, people in there are at different degrees and different levels of their recovery, right? And there may be some relapses. You know, there's oftentimes relapses in sober livings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But what is the majority, right?
Yeah.
If the majority is working, right? If the majority is going to meetings, and you latch on to that majority, and you're trying your best to live a healthy lifestyle, again, identified your triggers, avoiding those triggers, using your coping skills, all the skills and lessons that you learned in those 30, 60, 90 days in treatment, you know, your percentages of staying sober and living in recovery is so much greater.
Yeah.
You know, and something you said earlier, I never struggled with addiction either, right? And I really struggled with that early, and I'm sure me and your mom had conversations about that, when we worked there together. Um, that imposter syndrome, kind of. I wasn't really sure how effective that I can be as an addictions counselor,
Yeah.
but I was affected by addiction from a young age. You know what I mean? And so I saw what addiction does did to my whole community.
Yeah.
Some of my family members, some of my closest friends, some of their relatives, right? And so it's I feel like the more that we can practice empathy in life,
Yeah.
the more harmonious that we can become as a people. Because like you said earlier, I don't have to lose my mom to empathize with loss.
Yeah.
I've lost something in my life.
Yeah.
That's
and that is a great point. Like you said, just coming from the environment that you did and experiencing it so young, because it's for many people that have had close family members, like you said, friends, all of those things. Empathy is, I think, is the perfect thing that you can give someone. But it's like, how do you support someone that is battling addiction of any sort?
Well, I think for this battling addiction, you get as much education as that you can first. You know what I mean? There's Al-Anon. There's other anonymous, right, that you can go to get resources, to get education on how to support a loved one that is struggling with whatever addiction they're going through. Right? But listen, when people are addicted to something, they become the most manipulative people in the world. You know what I mean? They're going to do and say whatever it takes to get that thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, it's a chemical imbalance, right? So it's not the authentic them, it's them under the influence of a very powerful thing. Yeah. Whether it's sugar, whether it's, cocaine, whether like no matter what it is, they're struggling with that thing. And so just educating yourself first and foremost, right?
Yeah.
You can't show up to a gunfight with a knife.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, right? I don't know if you ever watched the show Intervention before. You know what I mean? But a lot of family members have no idea what to do, what to say, right? And what happens, we just enable.
Yep.
We just enable, right?
How do they enable them? What does that look like?
Oh, just not mentioning it, not bringing it up, allowing them to do nothing, right? There's several clients that their family members will just continue to pay their way, treatment 5 to 7 times, and yeah, you can come stay back here, you can take here's a vehicle and here's some money, I'll pay for your rent. You know what I mean? We're just teaching them to continue to like we're teaching them that digression is okay.
So pretty much because you do feel bad when somebody is suffering from addiction.
Of course, yeah.
But in a sense, you kind of have to still hold them accountable.
You have to.
And give them tough love.
Yes.
And let them know, I have empathy for you, but this has to stop.
Yes.
This has to.
Yeah, you have to have boundaries. You have to have boundaries.
Why do you think so many of them enable people though?
Fear. Come on, if your child is struggling with addiction and you don't know what to do, you're gonna do the best thing that you know how to do, right? Because you don't see the addiction, you see your baby. Right, you see that baby that you put to sleep, that you changed diaper, that you did all these things, right? Or you see a mother or an aunt who raised you, who took care of you, right? Who was at your graduation, who used to be on the grill all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's who you see, right? And so you're holding out hope that you can still reach that person. Well, in that moment, that person doesn't exist psychologically, right? And so if you don't come at it a different way and from a different angle, you're trying to treat the person and not treating the symptoms, right? And we have to start treating the symptoms. We have to start facing the symptoms.
And that's just being real, what you see.
Oh, yes.
Because I think a lot of times we do see the symptoms, but we lie to ourselves.
Yes.
Because it's better to, like you said, lie to ourselves, because it's like we don't know what to do.
Nope.
So it's like, let me act like this is not here. And like you said, treat the person, because I know what to do with the person.
Exactly.
But I don't know what to do with the symptom.
Right.
And that's when that symptom starts to just grow, and it gets worse.
And it all burns down. And now, because this person is enabled so long, now they feel obligated and responsible, right? Is this my fault? What could I have done different? First of all, ain't nobody on this earth more powerful than addiction. Nobody. Not on this earth. Right? And so again, to try to compare yourself to addiction, you're wrong. You need more support as the individual, right? Because if you open up that bag of worms, you can't put it back in the bag, right? No. Well, okay. Well, now that you pointed out the elephant in the room, then what you gonna do with it?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So again, it's fear. So it's like it's a combination of fear and hope, right? The fear that you may never get this person back, but you still have hope that if you keep doing the same thing, that they will get it, that they will come back. But by the time you notice it, now all your retirement is gone, right?
Yeah, because you done fed it.
You just,
it milked you.
You've been making it rain for 10 years. You've been making it rain for 10 years.
And I think it's like you think keeping them on it will help them stay a certain way, or right. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad, and I'm telling you, that is the hardest thing to tell a parent. It's the hardest thing to tell a parent. You gotta let them figure it out. They've got to want it, because right now you want it more than them. You're working harder than them. You know. But that comes from the enabling behavior, which is why. Yeah. Because if they weren't so enabled, they would want it.
Yeah. Well, potentially.
Yeah, but usually
right.
Because
the chances are higher.
Higher because when you're not enabled, you're used to figuring it out, doing it yourself. But if you're not used to that behavior, you're looking for somebody to figure it out for you, so that makes a lot of sense.
It's scary. I hate addiction. I'm about to get emotional. I hate it. You know what I mean? Just because it's so hard to have these conversations with people, knowing that we are powerless.
Yeah, we can only just support and hold them accountable, pretty much, and let them come to us when they're ready.
Yes, but it's also a blessing that we're powerless, because once we accept that, we realize that it's not on us. We relinquish responsibility. We turn it over to our higher power, right? We pray more. We bring communities together, right? And create prayer groups and support groups and all those things, right? And that's really what it's about, right? Community for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Addiction is not just it's not just a singular person, right? It affects the world.
It literally does.
It affects the world.
Yeah.
But ultimately it affects your family. The whole family system is affected. You know, from the immediate family to your ancestors. You know what I mean? Where did it start? Where will it end? You know?
Well, and I think also because with the addiction, with relapse, that's breaking a promise to yourself every time you relapse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how do you get yourself... And when I say breaking a promise, don't think I'm meaning it in a negative way. Yeah. But it's like, you know, when you commit to something, it can look like a broken promise. So it can cause you not to trust yourself, you know, because you've broken everything you've told yourself. Mm-hmm. So it makes you not think you can do it, you know? So it's like, how can...
self-esteem.
Exactly. Yeah. How does somebody rebuild their self-esteem when they've disappointed themselves?
Celebrate every small win.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrate every small win, because once you're engaged in doing the little things, you realize that there's no such thing as the little thing.
No such thing.
There's no such thing, right?
Yeah.
Everything is moving toward a greater goal.
Yeah.
Right? And it's in the little steps that allow you to reach that summit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so celebrate the little things, and once you finally start celebrating those little things, the small things, you finally realize that there's no such thing.
No.
Right? And then now you're like, oh my God, now I've been doing these things, I've been consistent. Why? Let me just do it again.
Yeah.
Right? Rinse and repeat. Let me just do it again. And that's where consistency comes in. That's
actually so true, because one thing that I always say, because I am a person that pays attention to detail. Like, it's so bad that, like, somebody did a personality trait on me, like those tests, and my attention to detail was so impeccable that it was like they couldn't even fathom, like, you pay that close attention.
Right.
And it could be just working in accounting. You can be a penny off that you have to be so detailed.
Right.
So paying attention to the details, I'm naturally great at. But I also tell people, too, because when you look at a picture of a painting, right, everybody is so impressed by the bigger picture, but it took the little pieces for you to see the bigger. You know what I mean? And, like, even when I tell people, because I'm also very much into fashion, right?
Yeah.
I always tell them, you see the full picture and you think that's it. And I was like, but if I were to remove the hat, it just changed the whole look.
Yep.
If I were to remove this necklace, I just changed the whole look.
Yeah.
If I remove this zipper, it changes the whole look, because even as little as this detail was, it just changed the whole picture.
Of course.
And so the little details actually matter. And, like, one thing that my dad has always tried to install in me, like, when I'm trying to get anywhere just in life in general, he'll always say, stop what I'm doing and just master the basics.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. Just master the basics.
Yeah.
Master doing the little things. Because those little things carry the bigger picture. Like, and I don't know why.
They're necessary. Yeah.
I don't know why we don't think that matters.
Right.
You know, like, who has made us think that it's the big things that we have to get to? I actually think the big things are the result of the little things we were doing.
Well, society plays a big role in that, right? Instant gratification.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to look like that. It goes back to comparison, right? I want to look like that. I want to be like that, right? When they don't realize that a lot of these people have professional thises and professional that's, and they're on certain medications, legal or illegal, right? And so we're presented we're presented with these finished products, right? But we didn't see what got them to that point. Yeah. You know what I mean? And oftentimes that stuff ain't even real. Yeah. Right? There's so much going into it. There's so much AI going on right now. Yeah. But if you think about it, I mean, it's been like that forever, right? I mean, back in the day, you know what I mean? If a woman wasn't a size 3, 4, 5, like she wasn't beautiful. Right. You know what I mean? That ain't never been my thought. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, right? Yeah. But then you would have women starving themselves to try to look a certain way that their body type isn't. You know, that's not their beauty. Yeah. Right? Their beauty is a size 10, a size whatever, right? It doesn't matter what that size is. It matters how you feel about yourself. Right? Men are supposed to have a six-pack, and men are supposed to have broad shoulders. So if I was born without broad shoulders, I'm not. You know what I mean? And it's just like, let's just be happy with what we have. And improve what we have. And just improve what who we are. Right? Yeah. And I mean, that's what it's about. But society definitely played a big role in that. Yeah. You know, the instant gratification piece, right? I want that and I want it now. Yeah. You know? Yeah, that does play like such a huge role, and it really affects so many people. Yeah. And because I know you being like a life coach and everything, because this also kind of goes hand in hand with like addiction, but it goes. I think this question I'm about to ask goes around with everything that goes on, because, you know, even as a life coach, I know a lot of people come to you and they probably come to you like, you know I have these problems, fix me. Yeah.
So when they come to you and they're like, fix me, how do you help someone that expects you to do all of the work? Like, what do you feel like people misunderstand about counseling someone
Yeah.
and trying to help people improve their
Mm-hmm.
life?
Well, the first thing I'll tell them is that I'm not a mechanic and you are not a vehicle, right? I cannot I can't look up under your hood and fix you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not what I do,
Mm-hmm.
right? What my goal is to hold a mirror in front of your face just enough for you to be comfortable with the person that you see in the mirror. You know what I mean? Like, it's about getting that person comfortable with themselves enough to start being vulnerable with themselves. Right? We talked a lot before about journaling. Journaling is like, that is the conversation between you and you. Right? That is something that the future version of yourself gets to look back at and say, man, this is where I was, this is where I was struggling, this is where I've grown, this is all those things that like, this is who I used to be. And now this is a new version of myself. And so I can't fix anyone, right? I can help support, right? I can teach skills,
Right.
I can do all those things, but ultimately that client has to do the work, that family has to do the work. And that means if I give an assignment, just give it a shot.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, like, a genuine shot. Don't just scribble some stuff down 10 minutes before our session and right, because now you're no longer investing in yourself.
Yeah, and it's like, what's the point of asking for the advice if you're not going to take it?
Exactly.
You know, it's like going to a coach and you're trying to be better at football and they're telling you what to do and you're like, well, I'll see you next time in practice.
Yeah. No, look, that again, another human condition, right? I mean, and it's not just with counseling and coaching and therapy and training and all those things, right? You get an infection and you go to the doctor for some antibiotics. They tell you to take it for 7 days, right? You start feeling better in 5 and you stop taking it, right?
Yeah.
You just went to go seek professional help and they told you exactly what you needed to do. But day 5, when you start feeling better, you thought you knew better. And you missed 2 days and now it's back. Right?
Yeah.
And again, so it's not, I'm just saying that because it's not just in coaching and counseling, right?
Yeah.
At some point, which is the hope that I want to get my clients to, being the professionals of themselves.
Right.
Right? But early on, you're not.
Yeah.
You have to learn these skills and utilize these skills in order for you to become consistent.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I would tell them that I am not a mechanic.
Well, yeah, because I'm like, if you had it all figured out, you wouldn't be here. You know?
Yup.
You know, like...
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's just like... But you mentioned that your role is to help people look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Why do you think so many people have a problem with that? Like, looking at what they see?
Because
a lot of people don't like what they see.
And that's why. Because it's easier to look out, right? Like, we have these 2 eyes so we can look out at people, right? I can see you, I can see you, I can see you, I can see all these things, right? And I can make judgments on these. I can judge my hand, but I can't look myself in my eyes, right? I can't look at myself and judge myself. I could, right? But I would have to look in the mirror. Right, and if I'm willing to judge myself, I also should be willing to applaud myself, right? And hopefully, the more you applaud yourself, you start changing the narrative, the story that your brain tells you about yourself, the things that aren't true. Going back to the toxic shame, right? You're this, you're that. No, I'm not. No, I am who I choose to be, not what everybody tells me that I am, right? And so, one of the hardest things for people to do is ask for help.
Yeah.
You know, and most people don't even know how to help themselves. So how do you ask yourself something that you don't know how to do? You know, and so it's those quiet moments that I try to get my clients comfortable in, that you are safe with yourself. You know, but that goes to self-esteem, that goes to self-confidence, that goes to all those things, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just hard because a lot of people don't like what they see. Right, but but again, if we don't identify that there's a problem, how are we gonna work at it? How are we gonna start growing? So, yeah.
How important is taking responsibility and accountability in the healing journey?
It's everything. It's everything. You have to. You have to take responsibility. I mean, That's just the short of it. Like it is the most important thing.
Yeah.
If you're not accountable, if you're not responsible, right? Like then you're not going to show up to meetings. You know what I mean? You're not going to call your sponsor. You may not, once you get to a certain point, you're not going to call your sponsees, right? You're not going to make your amends because you're not, you know what I mean? Like, or you're just not doing the work, right? And so if you're not accountable to yourself, if you're not responsible with what you committed to invest in, right? I mean, that's everything.
But I also think, too, a lot of people don't take responsibility or accountability because the shame. They're so ashamed of what they did that they'd rather ignore it.
Right.
And it's like, how can someone face what they did so they can move on instead of, because most likely shame tells you yourself that you're a bad person. You're this, you're that. Yeah. How can someone look at accountability different so they can look themselves in the mirror and do better?
Well, what they can do is come to my university. It's all about a growth mindset.
Okay.
Right? Those things happen in the past. Right? If you were going to, if you're going to hold yourself hostage for the mistakes that you've made in your past, then you're living in a fixed mindset. Right? And what a fixed mindset is, what I was born with and what I've done in my life is all I'll ever be and all I'll ever have. Right? The growth mindset says that I can change, I can grow. Right? I can learn from those mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? But again, it's identifying the toxic shame of it. What's yours and what's from other people. Right? You can't fix you can't fix or heal from what other people have told you about yourself. But what about you?
Yeah.
This is about you. This is the time to be selfish.
Yeah.
Figure out what it is that makes you tick. Figure out what you learned. Now develop this growth mindset to say, I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, that stove is hot.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's about the growth mindset.
Well, also I think too, a lot of people go to therapy and they lie to their therapist. And
All the time.
And y'all know it. I know y'all do because that's what y'all are specialized to do. But I'm like, what's the point of going if you're going to lie? So how do you get someone to, because you're there to help them, right? But lying is not going to help. So when people are going to therapy and they're lying to them, they're really only hurting themselves.
Yes. Well, that.
But how do you help someone that's lying to themselves, or how do you help someone that's lying to their coaching? Like, how do you go around that?
You just continue to hold space. Right? What I've noticed is that when you are personally investing in yourself, you're more inclined to be honest, right? When other people are footing the bill for you and you really don't want to be there, you could really care less. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be here. My parents are making me be here. My wife making me be here. My husband making me be here. My pastor making me be here. So I told him I was going to be here, so I'm going to just, I'm going. Yeah, I'm going. I've had people coming to me working with them for 8 months, and then they finally tell me that, I got some legal issues that I need. Wait, what? That was on the questionnaire at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Right? But we've been working for 8 months around some stuff that's not even important or as important. It wasn't the priority. The priority is this legal case that you have and trying to get this situated. But again, you didn't lie to me. I tell my kids all the time, I ain't never been lied to. You lied to yourself.
Yeah.
Who am I? I'm not God, right? Like you're not lying to me. You're teaching yourself that lying is okay.
And that's why you don't see it a problem.
Exactly.
And it only hurts you.
And it comes easier. And it just roll off the tongue.
Yeah.
Oh, and man.
But lies catch up with you on the
all
inside.
All the time.
Because you never get the help that you properly needed.
Exactly.
So it only hurts you in the end. And it kind of stops your development and growth.
It stunts it, absolutely.
Because it's like, how could you grow if you're always lying?
Well, how do you increase self-esteem if you're, like you said, if you're lying, right? How can even in the nooks and crannies of your brain, how do you think that you're moving forward if all you're doing is lying? vulnerability is one thing, right? But being genuine is a completely different thing, right? Being authentic and all those things. It's you can be vulnerable about some things. And listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I don't expect people to just show up to session and just right. I don't like. I have to build rapport with them, and I have to earn their trust.
Right.
Right. And so to be clear, I want to make sure that we understand that I'm talking about a longer tenured client of mine, right? But I mean, in the first month, I don't expect them to tell me all the ins and outs of their life. You know what I mean? Like, again, it's about building rapport, it's about teaching skills, and then once they get comfortable, now we can start discussing deeper issues, right? Some root causes. You know, were there some traumas in your life, right? I mean, what happened that got us to this point that you need to support, right? Because that's why you're here.
Yeah.
You know, and you can tell the ones that are being honest and genuine, and the ones that are actually doing the work.
Well, and I always tell people that too. When you're anybody that's a person that's really doing the work and really, you realize that nobody's actually wearing a mask.
No.
It's just nobody's paying attention.
Right.
That's really what it is. You can tell when somebody's lying. You can tell when somebody's telling the truth. You can, because for one, nobody can actually remember their lies. That's one.
Right.
You know, and two, it's body language. There's so many things that play a part.
Yes.
Like, I always tell people, where people think, well, I'll just be silent. Well, even your silence tells on you, because how you do it.
Yep.
The way you do it. It tells on you. So nobody's actually just wearing a mask like you think you do.
Right.
You know, we're actually showing who we are every day if people just pay attention. Which also brings me to my next point, because why isn't having an appointment, why not showing up, or why just showing up to your appointments isn't enough?
Well, yeah, I mean, we talked about it the last time as well, right? Like, some of my clients I'll see multiple times a week, right? But for the most part, I see them 1 hour a week, right? And there is 6 days and 23 hours that we're not in session. What are you doing in those times? You know what I mean? And all those things matter, right? This 1 hour out of the week is so minuscule. It's just a drop in the bucket as it pertains to, like, your whole life.
Yeah.
Right? Let alone your week or your day. Still 23 hours in that day, right? What are you doing, right? You know, for case in point, right? If you wake up and you have 10 pancakes, 10 pieces of bacon, and a beer for breakfast, right? And then you go work out for an hour, right? And then as soon as you finish working out, you have 10 slices of pizza. You have 10, you know what I mean? Like, what was that hour about? What was that? Like, what were you?
What do you think it did?
And again, right? Yes, it is a little step, but when it's sandwiched by a whole bunch of unhealthy decisions, that's when it starts to shrink that experience.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, what does doing the work actually look like?
Doing the assignments that I assign you. Okay? You know, no, seriously, journaling, doing a daily log. You know what I mean? And again, we talked about it, like, I think you and your mom were talking about, like, doing a schedule every day, right? You're going to forget something, right? I mean, so you have to start developing that second brain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And as you learn new skills, when they're not second nature, write them down.
Yeah.
Write them down, journal often, all those things, right? And so doing the work is actually just plain and simple, doing the work. Do the assignments, do the self-reflection, engage in your coping skills, use the techniques that are learned in session.
Yeah.
Right? We talk about the priority matrix, we talk about core values, we talk about so many different skills that people learn that they just don't do. Hey, have you done this? Oh yeah, actually I have forgot. Okay, well, no. Okay, well, let's go ahead and set an alarm, right? Label that alarm.
Yeah.
Right? And do your priority matrix and say, hey, is this urgent and important? You know, is this important but not urgent? Is this neither? Like, try to figure out where that is, right? Because most of us we'll set an alarm. I did it this morning. You know what I mean? You'll set an alarm, and then you hit snooze 10 times. Well, you just disrespected yourself, right? You set that alarm saying that I am going to wake up at this time. You made a commitment to yourself. I'm going to wake up at this time, and I'm going to set this alarm because it's important.
Yeah.
But why isn't it important the next morning?
Yeah.
Right? And now every time you hit that snooze button, you're getting further and further away from your true commitments. You know, and so, yeah.
So what is the mindset shift between someone that stays stuck and someone that's moving forward?
Oh, just what I said earlier, growth mindset. You know, it's just a difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Like, if you're staying stuck, it typically means you're probably doing the same thing, right? You're not collecting the data. You're not learning from the data, and you're not even trying to grow. You're not trying anything different, right? You think about the most closed off person. If they continue to be closed off, what's going to happen? Probably the same.
Yeah.
But if they force themselves just a little bit at a time, right?
Yeah.
Just talk. Just open up. I don't care what it's about. Let's talk about sports. Doesn't matter. But just start opening up. But the growth mindset, that's one of the first. That's why one of the first things that I really try to impress upon my clients is having a growth mindset, right? Because when they come, a lot of them are broken. They feel broken. They feel broken.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of them feel stuck.
Right.
I'm just stuck. I'm this age and I don't have this and I don't have that. Oh, you comparing? Okay. Oh, that's fine. How about we compare this version of yourself to the past version of yourself, right? How about we do that?
Because sometimes growth is there and you don't see it.
That's how you get into the growth mindset.
You got to help them see it. So coaching is like helping you see what we're missing.
It's the mirror. It's the mirror.
Wow, now I'm like, do I need to be a coach? No, I'm kidding. I'm playing. No, but I'm like, I like that because that makes sense because we all need somebody to help to see the mirror. You know, because sometimes even though when we're afraid to look at the mirror, the mirror's not as bad as we think it is. No. You know what I mean? It's what we're telling ourselves, like you said, and we need somebody to help us see sometimes what you can't see because you're so focused on talking to yourself bad that you're not looking at the beautiful picture of yourself.
Yes. There's a saying, especially in recovery, that self can't see self. You know, and that's where the community comes in
to help you pour back into yourself.
Exactly.
Because we're not all bad.
No.
There's so many beautiful things about us, but it's like, what can you recognize seeing how beautiful what's in you? Yeah. You know, are you only paying attention to the bad, or are you able to point out the good?
Absolutely. So one of the questionnaires that I do is talking about the strengths and weaknesses. Tell me why the weakness list is always long.
It's always long.
It's always long.
Yeah.
But you ask them about their strength. Let me see. I like my eyes. Get out of here. What's the strength? You do something. You do something okay.
Yes, right.
And you probably do a lot of things very well.
Yeah, you just don't pay attention to them.
But you don't pay attention to them, right? Because you're in that fixed mindset. Going back to that.
That is very true. Yeah. Well, I always tell people, too, all the time that I think somebody, like, that is truly, like, a positive... I consider myself a very positive person, but it's what lens I choose to look from. Yeah. So it's... I know there's negative things in the world. I know there's bad things that happen in this life. I just choose to focus more on the positive things because I look at it as, what is this side serving me besides fear, anxiety, all these things that I don't want to have. Most people are trying to experience joy, peace, happiness. The only way to receive those things is to have your mind focus on the positive things. I acknowledge that they're there. I know that they're there. I just don't spend a lot of time there. For what? What's there? You know? And I feel like a lot of people think you can be naive because you're not focused here. But it's like, no, I'm not naive. I just rather be here in case I have to focus here at some point. I have the energy to do it now because I'm here most of the time. So when you're here most of the time, you have the energy to face those when they come, because I'm not always here. When you're here, you're fatigued, you're tired, because you're burnt out by the negativity, the constant fear, the constant anxiety, the constant burdens. That's burden area. You know, but here you're constant. It's almost like birds, rainbows, and sunshine over here. You know what I mean? It's like, why wouldn't I want to spend my time over here?
Right.
Because there is a time where I'm going to have to be over here for a little bit, you know, because life just works that way. It's going to always throw, but I'd rather reserve my energy. But like you said, I think it has all to do with the mindset.
Yeah.
So this brings me to one of my questions on these topics is, if healing is something someone can't do for us, what are practical ways that we can start our healing journey?
What do you mean?
So,
like,
you know...
Like for yourself?
Yeah, for ourselves. Because, you know, like you said, we can't... Someone can't do the work for us. And we can't heal someone else in a way. You know what I mean? So if someone's like, okay, well, I do have to do the work. What are some practical ways that someone can begin doing the work?
Well, I mean, for me, I feel like it's all about committing to yourself, right? Commitments and investments, right? Like when you identify, I mean, I'm assuming in this scenario, like the person's identified there's an issue and they've reached out for help and they're struggling with doing the work, right? And so really sitting down and writing out, I am investing in myself because, right? I am making this commitment to myself because, right? And I don't care how many times or how many days in a row you have to write those things down to remind you of who you're trying to be. You know what I mean? You write them down as long as it takes for you to gain that consistency, right? You come up with some affirmations for yourself. I carry mine around my neck, saved my life, like for real. I was in a very dark place before I started using my affirmations. You know what I mean? And they don't. I'm the biggest advocate for it, but once you can start affirming yourself and stop seeking external validation as the foundation of your forward growth and movement, you just become a healthier person, right? Because now you're just living for yourself, and you get to share yourself with everybody else versus living for everybody else. You know what I mean? And you're just being shared. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, right? And so it's making a commitment to yourself. Yeah. You know.
Well, external validation too is not dependable. It changes all the time. And if you depend on external validation, you're going to be ripped apart, because every day somebody's always trying to tell you who you are. Like, how are you going to tell me who I am? You know, but if you don't have the mindset, you'll take on that identity. So like you said, it's toxic important to know who you are.
It's paramount. You know, and it's beautiful that you said that, right? Is because if all we're seeking, because we often seek external validation, that's why toxic shame is also able to creep into our psyche as well, right? Because if I'm taking all the external good things that people are saying, I got to take all the bad stuff. I have to, right? I can't be a hypocrite, right? Not internally,
right?
I may be able to talk about it, but internally, wait a minute, if that's true, then that's true.
Yeah.
And this is gonna hit harder than that, because this is kind of how I feel about myself anyway.
Yeah.
I can't really see that. It's the negative, it's that negative narrative, in your brain, the story.
Well, I could totally agree with that, and I feel like it's also like the things that have been brought on us in this world, like it's just too much noise. We have to learn how to quiet the noise so we can know what's true, So I totally believe what you were saying. And this brings me to my closing questions. Yeah. What would you say to someone who is feeling trapped in the cycle of like relapse or recovery? Like what would you say to someone that just feels like they're just stuck in any type of cycle?
Does this person really want it? They really want it.
Yeah.
I would
Because
tell.
I was about to say, because you can't really fix someone that doesn't really want it.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I asked. I mean, just because I mean, there's some people that are stuck and they're content. They're okay with it.
Yeah.
But if there's a person that is stuck and they really want to grow, they really want to change, I will go back to making commitments to themselves, validating themselves, being patient.
Yeah.
Right? You didn't get here in a day. Right? And you hear it all the time, Rome wasn't built in a day and all those things, right? And so you have to be patient, and you have to be patient enough to gain the level of consistency that it's going to take for you to grow the way that you want to grow. Right? And so, yeah, I mean, commitment, being intentional, showing yourself giving yourself grace and compassion, being empathetic with yourself, right? There's just so many things, right? Internally validating yourself. There's so many different things that you can do to get unstuck. But again, seek professional assistance. You know, I mean, just because it's so many people that just don't know how to start.
Yeah.
Right? Coaching or counseling or therapy, like it's not always this long-term thing, right? You can get in, learn some skills, and get out, right? But when you're truly stuck and you feel like you just banging your head up against the wall and you're trying everything that you know how to do, and you've made the commitment, you've been intentional, you've been doing all those things, why not give us a call?
Yeah.
Right? Why not reach out to somebody or anybody, not just us, right? When I'm saying us by mental health professionals, right? But commit.
Yeah.
Commit. Just commit.
Well, and this is my last question.
Yeah.
What does lasting recovery look like to you?
What does lasting recovery look like? It looks like a beautiful life. It looks like a beautiful life. It looks like harmony. You know, I know that, it looks like serenity, right? You hear the serenity prayer, but it just looks beautiful, right? Because I just believe that the more human beings that we have with clearer minds, that my hope and my prayers are that we will prevail as a people. You know what I mean? But when you start adding dysfunction or unhealthy things, it starts to fog how we react and relate to each other.
Yeah.
Right? You think about going out to the club, you didn't have one too many drinks. Sober, you probably not gonna get in a fight.
Yeah.
Right? But you had a couple of shots, then now chemical imbalance, now I'm no longer inhibited. Right now I'm just off the cuff, right? And so, and again, I don't knock people for recreational, like just going out and having fun, right? But there's got to be limits, right? Because there's a difference between just recreational use and occasional use and addiction, right? And so, we're speaking about addiction. I think it'd be a beautiful life. That's what long term looks like, right? It looks like you have a family.
Yeah.
It looks like you have a sustained job. It looks like you're present. You're present. It looks like your life. You found you're continuing to seek peace every day.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful world, And
it's like when you're able to remember, because when you're on drugs or if you're even just away mentally, you can't remember anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. And nobody's here on this earth forever. You don't want to let life pass you by, and you wish you were present in the moment because we all our time is limited here, and the only thing that that sustains us are the memories of the people we love.
Of course.
And we want to make sure we take advantage and be present with them and enjoy those every moments because tragedy can strike at any second.
Well, the word legacy always beats in my head, right? Legacy doesn't start the day you die. It starts the day you're born. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what you do with your time on this earth matters immensely. You think about legacy.
Well, Bobby, I really appreciate all your wisdom, all your knowledge, and coming back on this show. Y'all, Bobby is available. That's why we put him back on here so that you guys know that you guys can reach him. All his information is below where you can be coached by Bobby. Like, he is not someone that you cannot get a hold of. If you have loved and liked the things that Bobby has said, if you know someone that you think Bobby would be beneficial to, that is the point of this podcast, is so that you can see for yourself, is this someone that I would want to help me with my problems, with my issues? Bobby is here for the people. He is available. All you have to do is reach out for all sorts of coaching. If you're battling all sorts of things, all of his information is below. And we just want to thank Bobby for being here. We will see you guys on the next episode.